بسم الله. سيلين ديون كافرة تغني للعدو الصهيوني، لكن أغانيها جميلة، عليها أن تموت مثل كل الكفار من أمريكا إلى الصين واليابان. أنا من حركة الجهاد المكسيكي، وسنحرر كل العالم. الله أكبر.
We're here with noted Dr. Nick Giuliani.
Giuliano.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, sir?
Well, I'm a cryptozoologist here at Jamiat Al-Akhawain in Ifran, Morocco. Cryptozoology is the study of animals that for decades have really been on the fringe of mainstream science.
Okay. So why don't you tell me a bit about the Dune Bear?
Dune Bear. Well, you must be referring to Dobr Ramal, which is the Arabic term. It literally translates to bear of the sands.
Can you tell me a bit about the origins of this mythic beast?
Legend has it that when Hercules split apart Europe and Africa, the majority of the bears had already made it into Europe and were living happy, peaceful existences in the Black Forest. You know, just like very similar climate to North America. You know, we're used to the brown bear and the black bear, and they lived by rivers, and there were lots of salmon for them. And they were very happy, but you know, maybe a third or a fifth or so of the bears were still in Africa. And after Hercules split apart the two continents, you know, they couldn't go live in the rivers, so they tried to make do in the coastal regions. But we've recently uncovered some cave dwellings, and in these dwellings we see images of the bears fleeing from the coastal regions.
So what was being depicted in these cave drawings?
Well, first of all, you need to know that the cave drawings are quite primitive. They're very crude. They're difficult to read. There are three real possibilities that we think are accurate. It's clear that the Dub is fleeing, but from what? We don't know. The native Amazigh population? That would make sense. Option 2, pygmies who needed their razor-sharp teeth for their tiny little spears. Or 3, monkeys.
شنو سميتك؟
سهارة.
واش شافتي دوب الرملة؟
نعم.
كيف داير؟ واش خافتي؟
خفت بزاف، كنت جاية الخدمة.
ايه.
دايزة من الغابة وخرج لي من وسط الأشجار.
بصح؟
نعم.
واش درتي؟ جريتي؟
هربت وركبت في حتى موبيل مع شي ناس كانوا دايزين.
وكيف داير هاد الدوب؟ كثيرا؟ واو. ايوا شكرا.
كيف لا بزاف.
واخا شكرا.
Well, as we know, the Dune Bear inhabits the desert regions of Morocco and the Western Sahara. And as you may or may not be aware, there is an anti-government movement, really an anti-freedom movement in the Western Sahara. And the Dune Bear, being the noble creature that it is taken it upon himself to sort of to combat these enemies of freedom. And the effects of the Dune Bear, for lack of a better word, ravaging on the Polisario front has been phenomenal. Polisario has been pushed back into Algeria, actually, and there are many thousands of dead Polisario soldiers who owe their deaths to the Dune Bear and its defense of freedom.
My name's Jimmy Burnett. It happened when I was young. I was 10 or 11. My brother Timmy was 6. We were walking in the dunes late one summer afternoon, and Timmy was about 10 feet behind me when it happened.
Come on, man. Try.
So I heard it. And I heard Timmy scream. the most horrible sound I ever heard in my life. It just sounded so angry, you know? I didn't even know what to do. And then when I looked back, I saw it.
Well, what?
It disappeared underneath the sand with my little brother. That's enough. Turn it off.
Well, it's not living the dug in its natural environment. It has very thick fur, tremendously thick, just like they do at the North Pole. And it has a voracious appetite for salmon. So it's very poorly adapted to the desert. It was never meant to live in the desert. The Arabic term Dubr means bear of the sands, because it has to burrow into the dunes to protect itself from the sun. So it's miserable. It's an absolutely miserable animal. It's got to be sweating all the time. You know, there's no water for it. There's no salmon. And this means that it's a very grumpy animal. You know, it tries to hibernate in the sands, but it doesn't really get anything done. They just kind of grouch around. Some people say that they're very inbred because they can't really travel tremendous distances, and that definitely contributes to how aggravated they are.
شكون هو دوب الرمال؟
حيوان يعني يوجد في الصحراء متوحش.
Yeah.
هو متوحش.
مشهور.
كتصورني؟
Yeah.
اي
شوية.
دب الرمال بحال ياتي اللي كاين في الثلج.
Yeah. وساسكواتش.
شنو هو ساسكواتش هذاك ما عرفتوش.
بحال يتي ودوب
فين
الرمال.
كيكون؟
في كل العالم.
في العالم كله؟
Yeah.
خاصة في كاليفورنيا.
حيت الكاليفورنيين حمقين كلهم.
وأوروغا.
اوريغون حتى هما حمقين حتى هما هذو.
Yeah.
بال.
واخا.